Today in the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, we're going to go through some of the matches, the highs and lows of AEW All Out. Plus, we're definitely going to talk about Wrestlepalooza and the way they started, even though everybody was talking about, oh, WWE's going to counter AEW. And this whole thing with WWE trying to counter AEW kind of blew up in their face. And we're going to be talking about that and much more on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. We are live today at episode 263, and we definitely are going to be talking about what happened yesterday. It was Saturday, Wrestling Saturday, pay-per-view Saturday, whatever you want to call it. But one of the pay-per-views wasn't really a pay-per-view. Now I'm going to tell you why it wasn't a pay-per-view, because WWE decided a couple of weeks to counter program AEW by putting their show, the PLE Wrestlepalooza, at 7 o'clock on ESPN. They couldn't wait to counter program AEW and make a deal with ESPN without thinking about the fans. They were just trying to stick it to AEW, right? So what happens? They tried to pressure Tony Khan to, move his show to another hour and trying to, counter program AEW. And AEW and Tony Khan decided, okay, let's move the show to 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And sure enough, the show delivered shocks, if we could say that. Meanwhile, WWE and Triple H and his line ass and his toucan Sam nose decided to say, oh, we're going to have surprises. We're going to have a lot of surprises. We're going to have this and we're going to have that. And the only surprise that they had was The Undertaker coming out to announce that Stephanie McMahon is going to be in the Hall of Fame. We're in September. So they needed to do a show where they had to announce that Stephanie McMahon was going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame of the WWE. What it seems to me lately is that Triple H and The Undertaker has been walking around with their egos going around because they need to be known. I mean, let's not forget about Shawn Michaels. He's another one. You know what I'm saying? So WWE's been flaunting their stuff and whatnot, throwing, oh, look, we're WWE and blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, we have a lot of haters out there on AEW. What AEW did was, let's move the show to 3 o'clock. Let's make the best show out of that from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, which they overlap Wrestlepalooza by 1 hour. And I said this last week. I said that the week before, where it was kind of stupid on WWE's part because you have WWE and WWE fans also watch AEW, whether it's to criticize or whatever, but they will watch it. You know what I'm saying? They will watch it and whatnot. So with that being said, it got overran 1 hour extra. So basically, if you was watching All Out yesterday, you did not see the slaughter of Brock Lesnar over John Cena. We're going to be going over that. But let's talk about All Out. All Out started off with FTR versus Christian Cage. Now, I thought FTR was going to win. But being that Christian Cage and Copeland are from Toronto, the thing I didn't get was, well, they hometown heroes. But the ending of that match, they beat Copeland, hit the spear on Cash Wheeler, pinning him. But what happened, matter of fact, what happened during the match with Beth Phoenix, or she was known as Beth Phoenix, now she knows Beth Copeland, debuted and took out Stokely. She carried him to the back and whatnot. But during the match, during the ending of the match, FTR and the Patriarch decided to attack Copeland and Cage. Meanwhile, Beth Phoenix came out to help Copeland, and FTR decided to attack Beth Phoenix or Beth Copeland. So now that storyline is going to continue because now it's going to have Copeland and Cage versus the Patriarch and FTR, and especially FTR after spiking Beth on the ring, which now the stories are going to continue. So that's what I'm getting from the ending of that match. So that was real cool because now this story is going to continue. Long storytelling stories and most long book storytelling, in other words. So that was cool. And then we saw after that Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill. Eddie Kingston match was all right. Big Bill, it should have been a disqualification, to be honest. Big Bill right now is hot. You know, he's doing his thing. It looks like 1 minute AEW is pushing him, and then the next minute they not. Eddie Kingston came back, and he was really a no match for Big Bill because even though he defeated Big Bill, when he did that back punch, he missed him. And he had to make the cover, and then the announcers had to be like, well, I think he's struck him, whatever. But then toward the end of that, it was kind of cringy to see the ending of that because then he gets attacked by Brian Keefe and Big Bill, and Hook comes out. So now we got this New York connection and whatnot, and we have now Kingston and Hook. So I don't know if they're going to make a group out of that. We will see about that. Then after that, we saw the tables and tax match between Mark Briscoe and MJF. Now that match was gruesome because these guys, I mean, Mark Briscoe got backdrop to the tax plenty of times, and this was just crazy. I mean, the ending of the match, I had MJF winning this. I don't know why, but I had MJ winning this. I said, well, there's no point of Mark Briscoe winning this match because MJF is the heel. MJF is the biggest star for the company. And so I thought that MJF was going to win. But I guess Tony Khan did a swerve on that. That was kind of shocking to see that Mark Briscoe beat MJF. Pretty much now leaving MJF what's next for him since he lost this match to Mark Briscoe. What is next for him? What is next for Mark Briscoe? Maybe he's still continuing trying to get to Kyle Fletcher and his TBS title. And whatnot. It looks like there's going to be a 6-man something for Dynamite. So that's what I got from the ending of that. So for MJF, I don't know where he goes from there because it seems like MJF has been like, I don't know if he lost his belt in CMML. I still haven't watched the 92nd anniversary of CMML. I know he defended his belt against Mystico. It was belt versus title. So most likely probably he lost because I didn't see him with the title. But anyway, the point is, MJF right now, what is his thought? What is going to be his next story? You know, and what they're going to do next. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see Wednesday what happens with that. And then we had the Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. I knew the Gates of Agony was going to win, or the demands, as they are called, because we had MVP. Now, I love MVP. MVP did the old school balling, the whole thing, and the Hurt Syndicate. I love them. But if you want to push a team, that's the team that you push. Because Gates of Agony came out the nowhere a couple of years ago. They even went to World Tag League, I think it was 2023, and they made it far. And for AEW to not really push them like they were pushing it, I felt kind of bad for them because I think they were part of Prince Nana's group with Brian Cage and all that. But now with Ricochet, they look like a decent team. And I knew that they were going to beat the Hurt Syndicate because I knew MVP was going to be the one who's going to take the pinfall. Why not? Why not him take the pinfall? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to beat Bobby Lashley. You're not going to beat Shelton Benjamin because it's going to make them look bad. So, of course, now the third member, I don't know who's going to be a third member. There's word that at first I thought it was going to be Cedric Alexander come into AEW, but it looks like Cedric Alexander has signed, I guess, with TNA. I don't know why, but what will you sign with TNA? But anyway, but now who's going to be a third member? So that's going to be interesting to see in the coming weeks who's going to be the third member of the Hurt Syndicate. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be cool. We're going to see that. Also, we saw the TBS title match between Mercedes Moné and Riho. I still don't know why Riho was getting a title shot for TBS title shot, which is, it was a decent match. Though Riho has a new submission move, which is like where I thought you were going to rip Mercedes Moné's hip out of or the cat, not the calf. I'm sorry, the quad out of her hip area because she was pulling that. It was a weird submission, but that was a good, decent match. Mercedes Moné right now, I think she's going to be the favorite to dethrone Chris Statlander for the world title because of the history they have for the TBS title. So, but we're going to get that when we get to the Women's World Championship. But we'll see what's next for Mercedes Moné. I don't think I don't know who's going to be her next challenge, but this woman is just like dominating the wrestling scene right now. If today was the end of the year, I will give her the Woman Wrestler of the Year. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. No ifs, no buts. But, you know, then we had the three-way, which was Máscara Dorada, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kazuchika Okada. Now, I said this match was the best match during that time because these guys, when Máscara Dorada, this guy's only 24 years old, and he performed with two of the greatest greatest single wrestler in the world right now, Okada and Takeshita, especially Takeshita. Because like I said, if today was the last day of the year and we were doing the best wrestler of the year, I gave it to Takeshita. And the reason I say Takeshita because Takeshita was AEW International Champion at the beginning of the year. Then he won the Never Openweight title. And then he goes win the G1. Who's better wrestler than him this year? You know what I'm saying? And now with this whole thing, I knew Okada was going to win. And I knew Máscara Dorada was going to take the pinfall. You're not going to get Okada to pin Takeshita because then it kills the whole storyline between these two. Because that's what's going to happen now. Now this is going to set up a more great story between Okada and Takeshita with two competitive guys who's trying to be who is the man in the Don Callis family. I still say Takeshita's going to get kicked out. And Okada will, it's going to be the Okada or Kyle Fletcher is going to kick him out. Then he's going to have to go through the whole family to get to Okada, who's the big man right now. Because he has the unified title. That title is bigger than the TBS. So, why not? Why not be the guy to beat Okada down the line, maybe in the Continental Classic, if there is a Continental Classic? You know what I'm saying? Right now, Takeshita is ready to go with Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP belt next month. And it might be the King of Pro Wrestling in Japan. So, that could lead up to other story where Don Callis said, no, you fail to bring the IWGP to the family, and that could lead to other stories between the whole family, which that's definitely going to happen. So then we have the Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter, Toni Storm. Who was the fourth one? I forgot right now. But the fact that we did not expect Chris Statlander to win the Women's World Championship from Toni Storm. I did not see that. Tekla, I knew Tekla wasn't going to win. That's the fourth one. Tekla wasn't going to win. You know what I'm saying? Tekla was not going to win. Now Tekla's been hot lately, but I knew Tekla wasn't going to win. But I did not expect Chris Statlander to win the world title. I did not see it. And that caught me off guard. But when I saw that Chris Statlander used Wheeler Yuta's pin move, I'm like, nah, Toni Storm's going to kick out. And when she didn't kick out, I was like, yo, what the hell? What happened? You know what I'm saying? So it led to what happened and whatnot. And, everybody was wondering, what had just happened. So Statlander becomes the first woman in AEW to win the TBS title and the world's title. Now, I had Mercedes Moné winning the title from Toni Storm a couple of months ago to become that, but I guess Statlander did that and whatnot. So before I continue, guys, again, subscribe to the channel for the latest news and update, and hit that notification bell and hit that thumbs up. During the live update or the live feed, feel free to ask any question during the live stream, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So continuing on, and now we had the four-way ladder match with the tag teams. Now, this was hard to pick because I was saying to myself, I think the Young Bucks going to win the title and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So let me adjust the light here. We're live, of course. So I'll say it could be the Young Bucks. I knew Jespi was not going to win. I mean, even though Jespi took a lot of bumps. I mean, if Mikey, what's his name? Oh my God, what's his name? I keep fucking forgetting his name. If the guy from Jesby is not hurting his shins after those bumps they took, that I don't know what's that, because he took a bad bump. You know what I'm saying? So again, it was very hard to pick who was going to win this, because everybody, I mean, you had Echiseto and Josh Alexander as a team, and that team was awesome. The fact that Brodito ended up retaining the belt I was surprised. I'm like, wow, they actually beat them. But then it was the ending that really caught my eye, because a couple of weeks ago during BTE, whatever, I think the Young Bucks are doing that online again, we saw that the Young Bucks got a text message from an old friend. I already knew it was Jungle Boy or Jack Perry, because Jack Perry, the last time we saw Jack Perry, last time I saw Jack Perry, he was in a New Japan show, and the Young Bucks came out to attack somebody. I forgot who it was, and he looked at them straight like, "What are you guys doing here?" And we haven't heard from Jack Perry in months. All of a sudden, he's back and whatnot, and it looks like he is not a happy camper, and he attacked the Young Bucks after the match last night. The Young Bucks, of course, a 2-on-1, attack, but Jack Perry's still that Jack Perry, because he started laughing and the lights went out. Then they saw home with Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus is back, and Jack Perry are together united as Jurassic Express. Now, my thing is that, the weird part is, didn't we see Luchasaurus teaming up with Kip Sabian, being part of the patriarchy, whatever, in a tag team match with, I think it was Christian Cage and Copeland, and that was like a month ago. And here we are. I think it was Forbidden Door. So now, all of a sudden, Luchasaurus is a baby face again. So Jurassic Express is back as a group and whatnot. So that was cool. Now the Hangman and Kyle Fletcher match. This, I don't care what anybody says, but this was a 5-star match. This match was everything that you expect. Kyle Fletcher, if anything, has been an awesome wrestler since he broke up with Mark Davis and what they would know as Aussie Open. He has, when I say my man has, exploded as a superstar and as a talent, he's incredible. His whole demeanor, his match with Hangman, I mean, he used every arsenal. There was move that we were like, wow. And him and Hangman did a 5-star match last night. And again, this overlapped Wrestlepalooza, because this match went close to over 30 minutes and whatnot. So, now my question is, who's going to be the next challenger for Hangman Page? Because now, Kyle Fletcher now goes back of the line. Who's going to be the next guy? Can't be MJF. MJF just lost to Mark Briscoe. So we're all going to find out coming up this Wednesday, AEW Dynamite, so that while they get ready for the next pay-per-view, will be Wrestle Dream on October 18th. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be very interesting. And it's going to be very interesting because we see how now AEW, it's not focused on WWE anymore, because Tony Khan not being focused on his product and focusing on what WWE was doing was messing up his product the last 2 years. Now he figured, okay, I can't compete with WWE because they're the big giant. We're the little guys. It's like a David Goliath type shit. So he said, okay, I'll move my show at 3:00, but guess what? I'm going to go over 5 hours and overlap their first hour and whatnot. And whatever happens, happens. Well, we go to Wrestlepalooza now. And now Wrestlepalooza, let me put it this way. WWE was facing a lot of backlash from fans because they went into bed with ESPN so fast because they were trying to counter program AEW and the pay-per-views because they thought that this was a smart move to do. And then what happened was a lot of fans couldn't see it because, they didn't have the extra ESPN Plus, or they didn't have the ESPN package. So a lot of people didn't see that. You have fans that even me, I kind of question some of them. We're like, oh, where can I watch Wrestlepalooza illegally? I'm like, you stupid. You're saying this online through using your IP address in your computer. How stupid can you be by saying stuff like this? So I'm like, okay, WWE left a lot of their fans hungry to see this show, and a lot of them didn't get to see it. I mean, legally, most likely they probably saw it illegally, but they saw it. So, but the sad thing is, if you're bringing WWE to ESPN, to new eyes and whatnot, right? And you're trying to get fans to come and like your show so they could get hooked to your show. You do not put Brock Lesnar versus John Cena and have them destroy John Cena very quickly. Because what WWE did, and I said this during the streaming of Wrestlepalooza while I was still watching All Out. I said this. WWE, what they did, they pulled out a 2014 card from SummerSlam and brought it back in 2025. Now, my question is, why did they do John Cena dirty? John Cena is going through a tour of his retirement. So you're going to have this man get squashed by Brock Lesnar because you're pushing Brock Lesnar for what? And then you put him back with Paul Heyman for what? Are we going to get the same bullshit we've been seeing for the last 10, 20 years with Brock Lesnar, when he's going to hold the belt hostage and he's going to defend it whenever the hell he wants? And because this is what's happening right now. Okay. What we saw last night, and as the title say, while WWE goes back in time, because that's exactly what they did. They went back in time. Now, I have people that I have mad respect for. They got their podcast. We're saying this was some good shit. No, it's not. It's not good shit. Because at the end of the day, you're pulling a card from 2014 to 2025 to talk about how Brock Lesnar went and destroyed John Cena last night when he's on a tour. What is the purpose of this? Don't tell me that you're going to put John Cena once again with Brock Lesnar to get his revenge, because it's the same shit that happened back in 2014. Brock destroyed John Cena with 13 or 14 suplexes in 2014 SummerSlam, and then now the champion, John Cena, went and got his little revenge. So what are they doing? What is WWE doing? You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? The only good thing about Wrestlepalooza that I liked, and I didn't get to see the Bronze Breaker versus and Bronson Reed against the Uso, where LA Knight's supposed to be the referee spot. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. They had LA Knight as a special referee, but then you bring the Usos back for what? For them to lose to Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed? Why? So why bring them back? And whatnot? You made them look weak. Okay, we understand you make it Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed a dominant tag team, whatever, but this should have. It's not. It was a night of destruction. They should have called the pay-per-view Night of Destruction. Because the only thing that I like in the whole show was that Stephanie Vaquel became the Women's World Champion, and that was a good match between these two ladies. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand what is WWE doing. I don't, and whatnot. And it's just crazy. I mean, it's like they're walking around very confident. Like we saw the Stephanie McMahon, Undertaker coming out. Oh yeah, we're gonna induct Stephanie McMahon. Like she didn't know this was happening before the show. What was that about? We in September. We're not in March. We still 6 months left before the Hall of Fame. So she's the first one. You know what I'm saying? So. And then I saw tweets where people were like, "Oh, Vince McMahon should be the first one." Oh, so we're gonna have a sexual predator in the Hall of Fame. Not that I care about the Hall of Fame, because the WWE Hall of Fame don't really matter. Like they don't give that type of respect. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? So it was crazy what I was seeing. You know what I'm saying? So and then the CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch was another throwback from 2019 when it was Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin against Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Now this was the other way around, right? So now we're gonna see another match where we're probably gonna see now AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental title, which she's not gonna win, And then unless they give her the belt and then they give CM Punk the belt, beating by Seth Rollins, I don't want to see another CM Punk Seth Rollins match. I don't. I really don't. I'm tired of seeing this shit. What else are they going to do? They've done the mixed tag. They've done the cage. They did a 4-way. They did. When is it going to stop? When is it going to stop? You know what I'm saying? So it's like WWE doesn't care. They just rinse and repeat. And then when you see Triple H talking about, oh, if other wrestlers from other company want to come in and do this and do that, for what? You're not going to do shit with them. You're still going to push the same people over and over again. The Seth Rollins, the Roman Reigns, the LA Knights. And it's just ridiculous. When is this shit going to stop? You know what I'm saying? And then people talk about, oh, AEW sucks. AEW did this and this. But AEW had a better show than WWE. And I'm not saying this to be, oh, I'm a mark for AEW. No, it's the truth. AEW had a better show than Wrestlepalooza. And here's what I think where WWE messed up. When they did the match with John Cena and Brock Lesnar and had Brock Lesnar squash John Cena. How people going to like that? People are going to be like, wait a minute, Brock Lesnar again? What's going on? And there was a lot of people upset online. Kids were crying and whatnot. They were showing kids crying and come on, what are we doing? What is WWE doing? And now I'm hearing that WWE is not going to counter AEW for the rest of the year. Why? Because every time they try to counter, they failed. They fail. I don't care what anybody tells me, because all I'm going to get is WWE fan base that love WWE no matter how bad it is. It's going to be like, oh, no, Wrestlepalooza was good. Wrestlepalooza was a mid-card match. It was mid, like MJF says. It wasn't that good. It wasn't good. The only match that I liked was the Stephanie Vaquero and Io Sky. You know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't see the good thing, I didn't see the John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, because I said it. I said it 2 weeks ago. I said it. Who the hell wants to watch Brock Lesnar for John Cena for the 25th time? We've seen this shit before. And then they pulled out a 2014 card of SummerSlam, exactly what they did last night. That's exactly what they did last night. So nobody can tell me that WWE is cooking. WWE is not cooking at all, because Triple H is too busy appearing all these shows. He doesn't care about the product, because it has the backing of TKO. TKO is the one calling the shots. Now they're going to have Crown Jewel. They're going to have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Another match I've seen before. And this one, most likely Seth Rollins is going to win, and he's going to walk around with that belt, because Cody Rhodes won that belt last year when he beat Gunther. You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing? AEW right now for Wrestle Dream, the storyline looks good. The only question I have is, you know what I'm saying, MJF. And I forgot to mention about the Darby Allin and the Moxley match. That match and whatnot was crazy match, like always with Darby Allin and John Moxley. But Moxley ended up beating him because Pac is back. Because Pac is back. You know what I'm saying? Now I forgot totally about Pac. Pac right now has a shorter hair. He doesn't have the long hair anymore. And think about it. The Death Rider that a lot of people are complaining about, Death Rider sucked, Death Rider didn't. Their group is now, look who they got now. They got Daniel Garcia. They got Pac. They got Wheeler Yuta. As much as people talking about that Wheeler Yuta sucked, Wheeler Yuta is a good wrestler. They got Claudio Castelloni. They got John Moxley. They got Marina Shafir. I guarantee you they're going to try to bring Chris Statlander into the group. You know what I'm saying? And she might turn heel and be like, kidnap the AEW World title. You know what I'm saying? So that's their story right now for the rest of the year. It's good. Oh, it's definitely good. And then the thing is, what they working relationship with CMML, with New Japan, and other promotions, they are in good hands. So regardless if because what I noticed lately, a lot of people are worried about how many people are in the arenas, how many ratings it is, whatever, blah, blah. All that bullshit, when 10 years ago, no one gave a fuck about that. No one cared how many people were in the arena, long as the wrestling was a good show. And last night was a proven point. No matter how bad WWE tries to counter program AEW, it has failed. It's been failing for the last couple of months, and now they're talking about we're not counter programming anymore for the rest of the year. Why? Because it's not working. Tony Khan is doing what he was supposed to. He's doing now. He should have done this 3 years ago. Don't worry what WWE's doing. Worry what your product is doing. And now you got most of your day one guys back. Orange Cassidy is supposed to be coming back Wednesday. So you got most of your day one people back. You got a fresh group of talent in there that are doing their things. And that's not, and think about it. The show was good. And then he had Swerve. Then he had Will Ospreay. And then he had Jay White. 3 of the top talents. So what that tells you. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think, and let me know by commenting on this and whatnot. Let me know what you think about this whole thing with WWE going backwards. They're all about nostalgia and all this nonsense. Thank you, Ryan. Yes, it was true. All Out was way better than Wrestlepalooza, but this was all about programming, like I said. And do you think them trying to discount programming? Probably they figure like this shit is not working. We need to concentrate on the storylines. They're not concentrating on the storyline. Triple H, I remember Triple H last year. They were talking about, oh, he's cooking. He ain't cooking now because he's everywhere. He's in every podcast, just running his mouth, but not doing nothing about the product. Now, again, I am not. Let me repeat this. I am not into the tribalism bullshit. And if AEW was doing bad, I will say AEW was doing bad. If WWE was doing good, I will tell you WWE is doing good. Right now, WWE has not had a good pay-per-view since SummerSlam. Okay? They are doing this out of desperation. I don't know why, because they still the number one company in the world. They got the most money. They're backed up by TKO. So why are you worrying about AEW? AEW has a long way to go. And next week is their 6th anniversary. And it's still got a long way to go. And the way their strategy is doing, small arenas, it seems like people always want to complain about that. Oh, there's small arenas now. Yeah, small arena. The way it used to be back in the days when WCW did, when they used to do the shows at the the Disney studios, whatever it was they do, small shows in Disney studio, and then the pay-per-view was in big places. You know what I'm saying? What's the problem? Everybody got to complain about something. Always. What you should be complaining is that WrestleMania is not going to be here in the United States in 2026, and you're going to be paying more money and whatnot. Now, your PLEs also, your PLEs and ESPN are going to be commercials. That was another thing that had me bugging out. Commercials. When the hell do we see pay-per-views with commercials? ESPN was doing that. I was shocked. I was like, wait a minute. PLEs? Commercials? What the? Come on. So let me know what you guys think on the comments. Follow us, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, on Facebook, Instagram, the X, and especially YouTube. Join the channel, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think and whatnot. I respect everybody's opinion. Just don't be disrespectful. Again, let me know what you guys think. Also, we have a podcast store with t-shirts, hats, and hoodies. Go to tcwr.veryinkimpressive.com. That's tcwr.veryinkimpressive.com. We got hoodies, t-shirts, hats that is all about us, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I will gladly ask you to support the store. Excuse me. This is live. This is why I love it, because anything can happen. Something can fall on my head, whatever. But anyway, so let me know what you guys think. All right. Let me know what you guys think. And we'll definitely see each other again next week with more of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report.